This is the video I just made that shows me creating this 96 sheet origami sculpture. It has no adhesive, and here are two other versions of it. They all stand on a single point, and both of these are 216 sheets. And this is a different type of base fold that's the same pattern, same number of sheets. So this is the design we'll be creating. And the first thing you're going to have to do is pre-fold 96 sheets of paper. And I'm not sure what this fold is called, but you take a square piece and from this you can make so many different versions depending how you fold it. But for the cube, you're going to keep them flat. So you're going to make each surface, which has 16 sheets, you're going to do that 6 times over. And the way these fit together, you have these little flaps and then the insertion points on each one. So they're just going to slide into each other. And here's how 4 are put together. When it's not a complete structure, they want to pull apart. So to me, it's much easier to make it flat. And you can apply a little bit of pressure to keep it together. So you see we have 2 of the 4. And then we'll connect those 2. And you put 4 more on the top and 4 more on the bottom. And you might want to try doing this first before you do 96 sheets. Just make 16 and see if you can make the surface. And if it starts to come apart a little bit, that's okay. Just apply slight pressure and bring it back together. Then we'll do the same thing down here. And that's the 16 sheet surface. And the last part to it will be folding these tabs back. So you're going to flip it over, and then each of these bring up. Then I'll open them back up because that's going to help us assemble it. And then tighten it. And I'm going to do a time lapse of me making the other 5 of these. So now that you have all 6 of these, the next step will be assembling 4 of them. So here's 2 connected, and I will do the same thing. They're bound to come apart a little bit. Just tuck them back in as it happens. So there's one of the sections put in. And then we're going to connect these into one long strip. So now we have the 4 edges of the cube. And I would suggest just applying pressure and tightening it up, because it's really fragile and can come apart as you make it. But once the design is fully put together, it really holds itself in place. So now we're gonna flip it over. And I'm gonna do the same thing, just tighten it. I could see one sheet came off here at the end. Let's see if I can get that here. I prefer not to flip it back over, because you can just do that. Okay. Ooh. Shouldn't be happening. All right. Now maybe it'll tighten together. And all the flaps that we already had, I would put back up, because that'll help it stand once we prop it. And essentially what we're doing is bringing this end all the way over to the other end. And this is why we did the other flaps, because they're going to bend over and keep the shape. And because of that, I should be able to flip it over right here. This is where it's really delicate, but it's hard for me to get an angle because I have to work this from the side. But when I put the top on, it's the exact same process. So we're going to tuck these into each other. Hopefully. Great, so there's one spot done. And now the bottom. You may want to go around it and make sure nothing else came apart. And if it's a little off, that's not a big deal, because once it's put together, you can slide it back in a cleaner way. Yeah, so all these sides are intact, and now we're going to attach the top surface. And I'll bring all these back out because it's easier to lay it on where it holds in place. Okay. And I'll kind of position it a little bit here so I can start sliding these in. Oh, sorry about that. Let me see if that moved the camera too much. I'm actually just going to do all the top ones. For my angle, I think that's going to be easier. So if it's done right, they should slide right in. Now I'll do the sides the same way. And the top again. And at this point, the further along you go, you could just notice how much stronger it's becoming. And that's what I was saying. You can adjust these once it's fully put together and make it a lot neater. All right, here goes the top. And the top again. And at this point, I'm just going to work on getting the form done. You can really make it look nicer at the end. And that's where I started, which means the whole top is now put together. See how I did those edges? And I'm going to flip it over. And you want to just make sure nothing else is coming apart. And then it's time to add the last section. You know, I've only made a couple of these. I've done 2 of the 216 sheets, and I believe this is the 3rd one I've ever made that has the 96. And like anything, the more you do it, the easier you're more efficient at it, your understanding of it. Okay. So I'm going to do what I did before, now that that first piece is in, and just go around and do the top. See how that's really coming apart? That's not good, but you're just able to slide it back in. And it's okay if they're like that. They're not going to fully come apart. They're pretty strong now that it's completed. And at the end, you're just going to go tighten everything up. Yeah, and this one's apart on the bottom too. Guarantee you this is the worst surface, but it'll look just the same as the others. So that is the last piece. And as I was saying, you can just go kind of apply pressure on the whole thing and bring them together. May not be perfect, but it is nearly 100 sheets of paper and no glue. And this design, I love the way it stands, so as long as it's made well enough to stand on any of the points, you're great. I like to tighten these corners too. So yeah, that's it.